With the rising cost of rent and inflation with food and other services, the lifestyle of off-gridding or being a homesteader is becoming more and more attractive. And it's becoming a solution for those who are having trouble being able to afford rent. And so if you're one of these people and you're sitting back and you're wondering, should I start a homestead? Should I go do this off-grid thing? Is it going to be worth it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my successes and my failures, because before this I was homeless for about 2 years as I was building my infrastructure to be able to move into the next phase of my life, which was my ultimate goal, and maybe your ultimate goal as well. So let me share with you one of my successes. You want to, if you're going to move out here or move out to an off-grid situation, that means you're going to be miles from town. You could be up to 20 to 50 miles from the closest town or center where you can get a job. You might get lucky and be close. And so you need to be able to already have some source of income before you even come out here. So for me, I am in the digital economy. I happen to be in the creator economy, which is a subsection of the digital economy. Whatever skills you have, whether it be accounting or any other skills, there is a place for you in the digital economy. I invite you to my March 5th seminar. It will be a live stream, so that we'll have a live workshop. I'm doing it at the library, where I'm going to be talking about going into the digital economy, what it is, and how you can actually integrate yourself into it. But starting off with getting into the digital economy meant that now that I'm here, I don't have to go and find a new job, because I came from Florida here to Arizona. I mean, that's a big trek. But this is where the land is that I wanted to be able to get, was in this area. And so that was one thing that really worked out in my favor, and I'm glad I did it, because it makes sure that I have my property payment taken care of, that I've got water, I've make sure I got food, I have all of my basics taken care of, because I am able to continue working and build my infrastructure versus having to start anew in a new place. The second thing is not necessarily a success or a failure. It was something that I really didn't think of when I first got here. When you go into a new area, it's just like being homeless. You've got to start networking. You got to find this group and that group. Well, a lot of that actually kind of worked into my favor uh, here in the community, because if you are living rural, people aren't really using technology very much, or because there's not very good signal depending upon where you're at. So, technology really isn't that well used. So, a lot of the old school stuff, like word of mouth advertising and being able to develop relationships, connections, and networks, are extremely important. Because yes, you may be in the digital economy, but you've got to be able to make extra money, because who knows what you're making. See less income coming in because of the change, or other things. But you want to make sure that you always have other opportunities for work. And that's where going into town, like, so I would walk into town and people pick me up, I get to know them, we have a conversation, I find out what it is that they do, they drop me off, I develop other relationships of people saying, hey, if you need a ride, just give me a call. I'm making other connections with people that might want work done. I'm also getting referred into the community to be able to do boarding of animals. And these are the little one-off things that you can do, that you can make money off of, not only your local community, but your property as well, while you're trying to pay for it. Because I think that the most important thing that you should be looking to do, if you're going to be doing this homesteading thing, and I think that this is not a necessarily a success or a failure, but this would be the third thing. You've got to learn how to make what it is that you have self-sufficient. It's not just, oh, let me grow a garden, let me have this, let me have that. It's about, this is a plot of land, this is real estate, this is money, this is dirt. It's not just your home, it is a vehicle and opportunity. There are websites out there that will, if you connect with them, if people need to store stuff like in your garage, but instead of in your garage, they can store it in your property and things like that. Your property needs to be self-sufficient in itself, in the same way that you're trying to become self-sufficient. Because as you're, maybe going in the digital economy, but you're also networking with individuals, this gives you an opportunity to really turn your property into something that is going to pay for itself. Because eventually, I mean, it takes a minute. You're not going to get this done overnight. I've been here since Thanksgiving, and we're coming up on Easter now. And so it's taking a while to get to know people, develop the relationships, let them know what you're available for, because people don't need things right away, but when they do, you want them to think of you. So that's why you make a good impression. You know how to be able to communicate, work within the culture. It's selling yourself, essentially. But what that does is it allows you to turn your property into something that is either an asset, in the sense that it brings in more money than you got to put out, as far as, like my property payment's less than $200 a month. So if this property brings in 200 or more a month, then it pays for itself. My water and all that stuff, that's for me. This property, it needs to, the land itself needs to support itself. So being able to do things, and even use your land as part of your assets to be able to add value to the community. Because here we've got snowbirds, and so this summer people are going to come up. During the winter, they're going to need to store their stuff. So that means that I have an opportunity to board their animals, because it's kind of hard. You want to find somebody that's local. You want to find somebody that will care for your animals. And so therefore, it's a developed relationship, so that they can build the trust with you. Okay, so that would be number 3, which is making your property self-sufficient itself. Number 4, at least in my opinion, and this is more of a success for me, but the reason why I had this success is because I was homeless for 2 years. I lived outside. I was acclimated to being outside. But you not just getting used to the weather, the inclement weather, because if you're going to do this on a budget, and you want to be able to get into this because you realize, how the world is crumbling around you, and you want to get into something like this, that means you're gonna end up living in more primal conditions than you may have anticipated. A lot of people were thinking about homesteading as a way to spend their retirement, or maybe their last 10 years in the workforce, or something along those lines, because they had the opportunity to work remotely, or treat it as a summer house or something like that when they did their vacation. It was more of a luxury thing, but this is now becoming a necessity, which means that people are hurting financially because the cost of food is going up, the cost of this is going up. That means that you, whether you realize or not, may have to go more primal than you anticipated. I mean, oh, you know, I got to deal with probably the coldest winter I've dealt with in the last, well, this is my third winter outside, essentially. I mean, I had 4 walls and protection from the wind, which is, I'm grateful for. But also, on the other hand, the trailer is holier than the Vatican. But considering where I'm at, that I'm doing on a shoestring budget, and that I'm trying to, get everything. This is gold. It's where are you at? If I had $100,000 in the bank account and I was in something like this, I'd be asking myself some questions. But considering I'm not in that situation, I'm kind of having to deal with what it is that I'm dealing with. Okay, but you need to be prepared to deal with the weather. You need to also plan your time around it, which I would say is probably my mistake. Is I should have waited until about March to come. I should have stayed on trail until March, and then just hopped a bus, because you can't really do anything during the winter. It's too cold. And I don't really want to do anything, especially if I have an opportunity to be inside where it's just maybe even a couple of degrees warmer than it is outside. Okay. And then the last one, I'm going to say is you could probably call this a failure for me, but it was more of a learning experience. And that is, you have this dream like me. I was gonna wait till about spring to go buy a piece of land. I wanted pine trees next to a river or a creek or something along those lines. I mean, I was looking for a pristine piece of land, and then I started looking into, well, how do I afford it? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it becomes, it all of a sudden, because of certain circumstances, I started making choices based upon necessity. Not only because of what was going on with Farm Girl, but also I saw the writing on the wall with Donald Trump coming into office. If you are sleeping out on the street corner, if you're homeless, if you don't have some sort of address, you may end up in a federal camp. And I did a video about that if you'd like to. I did it a few months ago. But this is something that, as in my situation, it became a necessity to be able to get off. So I have a piece of land. It's a great piece of land. It's not what I expected. It wasn't what I envisioned. And I think that that is the ultimate lesson, is when you have a vision for what it is that you want, but you got to be more realistic. You got to understand that, like, if you're going to start with a blank slate, and be able to have like a pristine piece of land, you better have a good amount of money to be able to do that. If you want something that is going to be not only affordable but allow you to, build a home on it, I mean, so what? There's rocks. You move the rocks. What's wrong with that? I mean, I'm not a city dweller. You can't be a city dweller out here. You have to be willing to put in the hard work to be miserable, to either be miserably cold or miserably hot or miserably tired or just stressed out and stuff like that, because that's part of the lifestyle, especially as you're getting started. Just like in homelessness, it's the same thing, because I'm prepared for all of that. And because I'd been experiencing it for the last couple of years, the stuff that has come a little bit easier to me is going to be way harder on you, the individual. So this is something that I would definitely, consider. So if you're thinking, man, I want to go out, I want a homestead, I want to do it, and I want to do it on a budget because I don't have a lot of money. Learn from my mistakes. If you are in Arizona, Colorado, or Arkansas, you should check out my friend Stephanie at openairproperties.net. She's where I bought my property from. I got a great deal from her. She's really invested in your success, because your success is her success. And she even says that on her website. And she really holds true to it. I think that that's what makes her such a great person to work with, is because when you know you've got somebody there that is going to be your cheerleader, because it's going to help you succeed and realize your dreams. It's a feel good moment. And the human part of it, especially with all this technology, it's priceless. So definitely check out Stephanie over at Open Air Properties. Thanks for being here, guys. I hope to see you in the next video.